Good morning and welcome to Tuesday Morning Crosstalk. My name is Minister Becca Forsythe. I am with the Freedom Church of the Poor. I am accompanied by my dear friend, Pastor Connie Cipher of Corning First United Methodist Church. We're going to talk a little bit about what we heard in church on Sunday. Welcome, Pastor Connie. Why don't you go first?
As soon as I unmute myself, I will do that. I did a little reflection on the Jacob story, Jacob wrestling with the angel who turns out to be God, or however you want to interpret it. But like Jacob, we all face difficulties and difficult decisions in life. Remember, he's waiting to meet his brother, and he's pretty sure his brother is going to still be trying to kill him. So we all face these difficult moments in life where there's no easy answers. We just have to move forward, and we can pray, oh God, what's going to happen? Which way do we go? Which way do we go? But the answer in prayer, it may take years to become clear. So usually we end up just moving ahead. And we have our own wrestling matches with God because God is not a passive spectator when it comes to our lives. And I know this is going to sound kind of crazy, but God is willing to get into the ring with us. We can wrestle with God anytime about anything because God is more than willing to get in the ring and wrestle with us so that we can know, we can get it out of our system and know that God is with us. And God has never put my hip out of joint in any of our wrestling matches. And that came with aging and overweight. That happened. It wasn't God's fault. But I have come through some of these wrestling matches always feeling blessed and connected to God, convinced and comforted by the nearness and the constant companionship of God. So we have this reunion of these two brothers, and it comes on the heels of Jacob wrestling with God. And I read the happy ending from Genesis 33, verses 1 through 4. Jacob looked up, and there was Esau coming with his 400 men. So he divided the children among Leah, Rachel, and the two female servants. He put the female servants and their children in front, Leah and her children next, and Rachel and Joseph in the rear. He went on ahead, and he bowed to the ground 7 times as he approached his brother. He wanted to make sure Esau knew he was sorry for what he had done. But Esau ran to meet Jacob and embraced him. He threw his arms around his neck and kissed him, and they wept. So sometimes we're going to have to wrestle with God, and sometimes there's going to be happy ending moments, but God is with us even in the not so happy moments, and God is with us every single step of the way and ready to wrestle with us and anytime we need to wrestle. So happy God wrestling. Back to you, Becca.
That is so important to me. I can't tell you how many times I have just felt the need to cry out, God, what is going on? I don't get it. And he's big enough to handle that. And I really
Yes.
appreciate that. Absolutely. So we talked a little bit at my church about the feeding of the 5,000. And I'm going to be honest, it was actually last week, but we didn't get to do this last week. So it's okay, right?
Yes.
So when I hear about the feeding of the 5,000, when I was young, I just got really amazed and astounded. What are you talking about? 5 fish and 2 loaves fed 5,000 men plus women and children, probably 15,000 people. That's crazy. That just must have made the most amazing amount of food. But one of the things that Mother Linda pointed out to us is that travelers back then understood that traveling was not just walking down the street to the store. This was long trips that they were taking, and almost always did they pack food to bring with them because they wouldn't have been able to make those journeys if they didn't. So when I hear the story of the feeding of the 5,000, the first thing I hear Jesus do is tell everybody to take a seat. Sit down in the grass, ground yourself, relax yourself, be in community with the people that are here. And once that happens and they are able to start letting their guard down a little bit, they're like, hey, There's 5 fish and 2 loaves. What do I have over here? Oh, maybe I have something I can share. And perhaps that was a huge, beautiful mutual aid project. I don't know if that's really what that was. I don't understand how we fed all those people. But the fact that the disciples were like, we should send these people home so they can go get something to eat. And Jesus is like, no, I have pity on these folk. These people mean something to me. They have been here with us all day listening to me preach. You give them something to eat. And I think that's so important. There are some folks who like to point to this passage and they go, aha, see, this is how I know the Bible lies, because this said it fed 5,000. And then in a couple more pages, he feeds 4,000. He doesn't even know how many people he fed. Okay, no, I don't think that's how that works. I think that was more than one example of this exact kind of scenario playing out. So I think it's really important for us to understand that most of the time when we see something miraculous coming from God or Jesus throughout any of these pages, it's when we have all come together to celebrate together and to be part of a community together. I think that's when God shines the brightest. Yes, we feel him when we're by ourselves and we need to wrestle with God, most definitely. But at the same time, when we all come together under that same mission of loving ourselves, loving each other, loving God, that's when the miraculous change really takes place. And I also think it's kind of funny that in every time you see in these readings where they're talking about heaven, the word like gets really killed. It's like this, it's like that, it's like this, it's like, because we have no way of describing it. We haven't been there, we haven't seen it. But we are being required to build heaven on earth. And I don't think that comes with work requirements. I don't think that that comes with sanctioning people and making it so that they cannot access the things that they need. And in a couple of weeks, we're going to have some more conversation about healthcare and how important that is to be universal so that everybody has access. Jesus never asked for a copay. He didn't ask what doctor you went to. He didn't ask who your insurance carrier was. He healed people. And I think that is a little bit more of what we need to get in the habit of. So with that, I found a really interesting prayer that I'd like to close us out, unless there's something else you want to add in before we go there.
No, you said it all and you said it well. Thank you.
God of our hopes and dreams, we are empty and long to be filled. We are hungry and long to be fed. We are lost and long to be found. Gather us into your love and pick up the pieces of our lives. Just as Jesus gathered up the fragments of the 5 loaves and 2 fish that remained after feeding the 5,000. Call us anew to eat our fill and to find our true nourishment in Jesus, the bread of heaven. Amen, amen, and may it be so. See y'all
Amen.
next week.